find me till I live today. Why not today? While my heart is ready. Today, while it's in my grasp. I start out slowly, confident knowing I'm still on my way. Why not today?
Welcome to the Why Not Today show with Laurel Dodge and Laurel Dodge, where we're working together to find hope, health, and happiness. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We have some rambunctious pets. Today's show is all about pets, and we have some pets here in the room. So I hope you're all doing good. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to the Why Not Today show.
If we felt as good as those little big dogs are rolling around behind us, they're going to knock us off the bar
I can't believe
stools.
it. They're just like nuts. We wanted to invite them in here to our show, and it didn't go so well. So I can still hear them rolling around. I think the co-host or the triple co-host is in the other room. The technical advisor, I think he just sent them out for us. So I think they're kicked out of the house for now. So
it's good to have help.
good to have a little bit of help. So anyway, thanks for being here today. We're excited to talk about our friends, our pets, our fur babies, our families, our kids, our pets.
Your pets.
Our pets.
And my cat. I have a cat. And she's the boss.
You have some lizards.
I have a lot of lizards, and I don't know if I should share this. The cat thinks the gift of all gifts to me is a lizard.
She does.
And she can go in and out of our house. She's got a cat door.
Yeah.
And here she'll come with a live lizard. Plops it down. So guess what? Guess who has to catch it and get it out?
She thinks it's a gift.
I know. Well,
she's excited.
I know, but a little startling when you're walking and they go scuttering across your floor.
I have two ginormous dogs, approximately 180 pounds worth of Labradors together, and they both have very light colored hair, and they both shed, and I'm constantly cleaning up after them. So, but it's fun. They're good dogs.
It is. So I wanted to talk a little bit about benefits of having pets.
Yes.
And those of you that have them know this. But I did a little research, Eric, as usual.
You do some research.
And I found out that...
Wait. You did research? Welcome. We got some research in the house. Okay. All right. Okay. That was somebody got some new sound effects for the show. So.
Oh, we shouldn't let the dog run the soundboard for us anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, pet owners. I have to put on my glasses. Suffer less depression than those without pets. They have lower blood pressure than those without pets. I found this was interesting. People with borderline hypertension who adopted dogs from a shelter, their blood pressure declined significantly within 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting to me. Playing with a dog or cat or a lizard, or somebody showed a pet snake. I don't know if that would make me calm and relaxed.
I saw somebody took an emotional support horse on a flight.
Oh.
It was a miniature horse, and they had to take it on an airplane with them.
Well, they had that one over in Hurricane that somebody took into the Maverick.
Yeah.
Took their horse in there.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Something I found that was interesting is that even hardened criminals in the prisons, they have found that if they take shelter pets in there and have them work and train them, it gives the prisoners a purpose. And a lot of the prisoners never had that mutual love and special attention that they get from pets. So they found that was really a great thing. The dogs have got me coughing a little bit.
Our special guests that are covered in allergies.
Caring for a pet can make you have healthy lifestyle changes by increasing exercise.
This is true. I know that for sure.
Providing companionship, helping you meet new people.
That's true.
Reducing anxiety, adding structure and routine to your day.
Yep.
And providing sensory stress relief.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was interesting. A year-long study found that walking an overweight dog helped both the animals and their owners lose weight.
Oh,
And
this is
they
making
found
sense.
out they had a bunch of public housing residents walking the shelter dogs. They walked 20 minutes, 5 days a week. The residents, the people, lost an average of 14.4 pounds a year.
Wow.
So if you have 2 dogs, Eric.
Well, but my problem is I have a very skinny, athletic dog, and then I have a very overweight dog that I get on her level because she's always trying to pick up little pieces of food. She ate half my apple tree. I get her. So, and so I understand that.
But I thought that was interesting that they had kind of tracked that and seen that they've lost. I mean, that's a lot of weight.
I know the pets that my dogs give me outside almost every day. That's one thing that I know for a fact.
They have found that a lot of these rest homes and care centers and places that they are taking therapy animals in there
Right.
for that human touch, and they have found that it helps them find the meaning and joy in life.
Mm-hmm.
To pet and be with a dog, it helps them to stay more connected, the residents, and it says that it boosts their vitality. It brings them more back to
I
life.
can see that.
They feel safer with pets than they do with some of the people that are there taking care of them.
That makes sense.
They found that that was really incredible.
Well, come on, who doesn't feel safer with pets than people? I mean, let's face it.
I know, Eric. They also talked about children and pets and the benefits of that. The mere presence of a pet in a home gives a child a sense of safety.
Yeah. And an adult.
Security. And adults. It helped the children feel that they had a more positive self-image.
Okay.
Wasn't that interesting?
I believe that.
Because the pet loves them and they know that they love them for who they are and what they
Well,
look like. It
you
doesn't
posted
matter.
that picture of that dog looking at that lady that said how bad she was looking, and the dog said, "You're beautiful."
Yeah.
The dogs don't see any external flaws in people. It's so funny that way.
I wanted to talk a little bit about this with children. So many people decide they want to get a puppy for their child.
This is a very important subject.
Puppies are nippy. Puppies are jumpy. Puppies are scratchy.
Yeah.
And especially for a special needs or a challenged child that needs you feel like they need a pet.
Yeah.
Be careful. Maybe an adult dog
Yeah.
from a shelter that's gone through that puppy stage because
It's a hard stage.
oh,
It takes years, you know. People, and I've had puppies before, and I've had litters of puppies before, and I've seen the stress that it's put on people. And everybody thinks puppies are so cute, but one of the number one things that's abandoned are dogs after they're about 6 months old to a year. And people give up on them because they don't have that cuteness of the puppy anymore, and they still have all those bad habits of a puppy, and so they just dump them. And it's a horrible, horrible thing. And shelters are just overloaded with these young dogs. I've seen so many people get along great with older dogs and rescue them at 7, 8, 9 years old and have fantastic years with them.
and I think that's important.
Yeah, the dog loves it. I have a friend, and she rescues dogs and cats quite a bit. And she likes to get the ones that everybody gives up on. And I've known her to have 3 different dogs, and she's had them all for decades. I mean, they've lived into their late teens, some of them, which is unheard of. And she had one named Jimmy. He was a dog, and he had been abandoned by a couple people. He wasn't a working dog. He wouldn't chase cows. He wasn't a cow dog, and so they were basically just done with him. They were going to take him over to the shelter. And she's like, well, I'll take him. And she turned that dog into an amazing animal. And I always made fun of her because I'd see her driving around with him sitting in the front seat of her truck, and she'd go get him an ice cream cone over at Dairy Queen.
She used to drive him around in her Mustang
Yeah.
in the front seat. There would be her and Jimmy.
And Jimmy was turned into everybody was just like, wow, how did she turn him into such a good dog? Well, the way she did it was she spent time with it, and she took it and made it part of her family. And this latest dog she's got named Sasha is a pit bull.
Sasha tried to kill
was
me.
horrible at first. In fact, Sasha had been taken back 3 times by 3 different owners because of her aggression. And she wasn't a mean dog. She was a scared dog. And so her fear made her lash out out of anger. Well, she's had Sasha now a couple years. There was a couple times she wanted to give up on her. And she said, well, if I give up on her, then who is actually going to take her? I'm the only person that would put up with this. And Sasha doesn't bark at me, doesn't growl at me. She doesn't attack my dog anymore. She has turned into such a nice dog. Same thing. She drives around with her every day. She takes her places. She's turned into a really, really nice dog because she takes good care of her. And yes, my neighbor has had some good rescue dogs and takes great care of them. I mean, I always hear my neighbor out there feeding hers and I'm feeding mine. We have these dogs and we do the best we can with them. All of our dogs have issues. All of them have some problems, but they bring us more joy than they do pain. So
well, and we have 3 rescue cats in our family, and they were all Emily's was a little kitty.
We have 4.
We have 4.
Well,
we did.
Lucky.
Oh, I
Queen.
forgot about Lucky. I forgot about Lucky.
And Fanta.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just think they remember where they came from, and they're so grateful to be rescued because they are just such good animals.
I take care of at the farm. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 5 rescues at the farm, and they're wild. I mean, these are cats that I've had to trap and take to the Great Fix where they fix them, and they actually have to They have to wear the feral cat gloves on them. They clip their ear to let you know that they're feral, but they have been spayed or neutered. And I feed these 5 cats. This morning I fed all 5 of them, and I saw 3 of the 5. And the other 2, there's an orange one and a black one. I don't see them as often, but there's Gray, and Gray's like 17 years old. I've had him for a long, long time. And then there's the 2, what are those fluffy ones called? Persians? The 2 Persian cats. And they're hard to take care of. Their hair is all matted, and I can't get close enough to tear off some of the mats or brush them. But Emily had Skylar, and she was talking about Skylar. So those of you who are listening on our podcast, we have a podcast. We also have a live chat. We do the show. And we also have, we were going to try to do it on Instagram as well today, but we didn't get it all put together. I'm learning about all this technology. So the podcast is almost complete once we have our artwork uploaded. You can still subscribe now, though. Somehow we had 13 downloads this week, and I haven't said hardly anything about it.
Me.
But the podcast is called The Why Not Today Show, and obviously we're on everything. We're on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and our website should be updated eventually, and we're just working at this slow. So I'm glad you're all here because we have a whole bunch of you here on our Facebook Live, YouTube. Thank you. It's just growing every week, and you guys have been great. We're working together with you to find hope, help, and happiness. And
it's a teamwork.
It is a teamwork.
We've all got to be in this together and pull each other through.
We were working, I walk the dogs every day, and I do need to work on some things. We committed this morning to try to lose some weight. Mm-hmm. A 90-day challenge, not really a challenge, but for 90 days now some of us are cutting out some things of our diet.
Well, and that's a different group you follow. Rachel Harris.
I'm not in that group, but I committed to 90 days between now and the end of the year to lose some weight, cut out some things, and exercise more. And because I have Paisley, who needs a little more exercise, me and Paisley's going to work together to lose some weight. Good. So
I wanted to pull back a little bit more into pets and some things they can help people with. And I don't know how many of you remember, but when I was a child, we would go to the doctor's office and they'd have an aquarium there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they were pretty nasty looking aquariums, but still it was a calming factor.
Yeah.
And fish tanks and lizards and snakes and things like that can calm people to watch.
Well, and at the Chinese buffets, they still have the aquariums. And then they bring your food out of the aquarium. And so that's calming for me because you get to pick your fish or your lobster. And then
Well, and it reminded me when you were kind of going through some of your troubled times as a young boy, you had a huge aquarium.
I had one 55-galloner, then I had 5 more down in my bedroom. Different kinds of fish. I was so crazy. I would drive to Vegas and find these fancy guppies, and I would get like cichlids and discus fish, and I never did do the saltwater thing because it was too much work, but I always had a lot of fish. Oscars were the big thing, the red devils, the pacus.
You had that.
I was
an Oscar, and it was back. It was back a few years.
This is morbid. His name was OJ.
OJ,
and it was named after OJ Simpson because I bought him a wife, and he killed her.
And she was blonde.
She was blonde,
a white,
albino
yellowish.
Oscar. And we're losing followers.
But this is a kid, a kid
This is what happens when you tell the Oscar story.
doing this. I also wanted you to share your little experience with your llama up on Pine Valley Mountain.
Yeah, llamas and I always thought I wanted a llama. And there's this vineyard I wanted to visit in this place close to my town. And I wanted to go to this vineyard and check it out and maybe check out the wine that they had up there and see what it was all about. And we went up to the vineyard and there was this beautiful llama smiling at me and wagging his little tail, wanted to be pet.
Do they have tails?
No,
Just
kind
little
of.
knobs.
Yeah, but he just was real friendly looking.
Oh.
So I kind of clicked at him and tried to call him to me, and he kind of started walking slowly. And I thought, oh, here comes my buddy. We're gonna have a good time here. And started to get a little closer, and then all of a sudden he lets out the loudest snort I've seen, and he bucks and he starts running right at me with his face forward, his teeth bared, and I could see that he was gonna trample me. And so I took off on a dead run towards my truck, and I couldn't get into the truck fast enough before he got to me, so I had to run around the truck like you see the bull riders do at the rodeos when they're trying to get away from the bull. And I had another guy with me named George, and he was like laughing, and he jumped in the back of the truck and was trying to get the llama's attention so I could get in the truck. And so George got his attention, and he ran around to get George, and I jumped in the truck, and he kept trying to kick my truck, and we took off. And George climbed in the passenger side, and we got going about 30 miles an hour, and this thing chased us for almost 5 miles down the dirt road. And I put a little video of it on Facebook, but it was I'm pretty sure that would have been the end of me. I suddenly don't like llamas so much anymore. But yeah, it was very friendly looking at first.
You've got into a lot of trouble with animals through the years. You know
There's
that?
the horse that came up to us, the wild horse. Several wild horses I've came across. The one up at the Yant Flats and the one up in Bear Valley. Two wild horses. So a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, but you know, animals bring life to our world.
I've always loved
really
animals.
Do. You have.
If I could own a zoo, I would own a zoo, or a fish store, a pet store.
You always wanted a pet store.
I did, but now there's so much scrutiny based on puppy mills and things like that. And I agree with that. I don't agree with puppy mills whatsoever, but I do agree with finding good homes for pets. So, and I think that a lot of people should have pets. I do know that it's a lot of work, and but it's worth it for me.
There's a lot of cost.
There's
a lot
involved.
Of commitment.
Thousands of dollars.
Some pets, a lot of years. I know some of the birds that
Birds can live like 70 years old. Turtles, tortoises.
They can live a long time, and you know that your children are going to have to inherit them, and you have to think a little bit about those things, those commitments that are incredible. But I wanted to just read a little bit more, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay. To kind of conclude. Pets, especially dogs and cats, can reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, ease loneliness, encourage exercise and playfulness, and even improve your cardiovascular health. And it says that your dogs have become so attuned, and pets have evolved to be so attuned to humans, that dogs are able to understand many of the words that you say, but they're better. And I think cats too. I think they can feel you, but they can interpret your body language.
I think they read your energy better, more than your words.
And I know my friend had a little parakeet when we were growing up, and that bird loved her and knew her and comforted her when she needed comfort. And it was just amazing for me to see, because I didn't know that other pets could bond with you like that.
I've heard that starling birds can learn to talk. I've always wanted to catch one of those and try to teach it to talk. But
your dad used to have one.
A starling, a talking starling. I see him over in the Walmart parking lot eating bread all the time. But
when you're out there catching
them,
go to jail for disrupting the wildlife.
That's right.
You're out there with your little net trying to catch them.
That's right. Well, we thank you guys for being here. Next week, we're going to talk about my favorite subject, getting organized. And I can talk a whole lot about that because I've spent the last couple of years trying to become a minimalist, and there's a lot to it, and I've got more dreams. But we want to thank you guys for being here on our Why Not Today show, weekly Tuesdays at 10:30 Mountain Standard Time with Laurel Dodge and Laurel Dodge.
The past is behind me, tomorrow can't find me till I live today. Why not today? out slowly, confident knowing I'm still on my way. Why not today? Why not today? Why not?